Mind your head. This is a bit tricky. I didn't know this entrance opened here. Oh wow. This is a bit foreboding. I've decided I'm going to take a little walk around Drop Redoubt, which is originally a Napoleonic fort, which was built around the 1800s. Well, it would be for the Napoleonic fort. Now, normally, I stand up on the balustrade or right along the edge. So let me give you a little bit of the history here. Drop Redoubt is one of the most striking fortifications in Kent, and it forms part of the Western Heights defences, which were built during the Napoleonic Wars to guard against the potential French invasion. And it played a role in Britain's coastal defences for over a century. Now, its isolated position and its deep defensive ditches make it an atmospheric site. Look at this. I think that goes down to the grand shaft. Now, there's historical and paranormal tales linked to this place. As a Napoleonic defence, Drop Redoubt was part of a wider system of defences, including the grand shaft. Hopefully we'll get to see that, which is a spiral staircase that allowed troops to quickly move between the town and the heights. Now, although Napoleon never invaded, the fort remained a crucial part of British military strategy, and it was used in both world wars, and the fortifications were used for defensive operations, with World War II seeing an increased military presence due to the threat of German invasion. Looks majestic, doesn't it? And I'm wondering if originally, because they look like arrow slits, don't they? But you'd have got your guns and stuff to defend. So a very, very high wall. The enemy would have had to come down here and then have to try and navigate up there. There's also a link to spies and smuggler stories. Now, there are some accounts that suggest that the tunnels around Dover fortifications, including those near Drop Redoubt, were once used by smugglers, particularly during the 18th and 19th centuries. And there are also rumours that secret agents passed through Dover during wartime operations. Now, there are also paranormal and urban legends, because Drop Redoubt is considered one of the most haunted places in Dover, with multiple ghost sightings and eerie experiences that have been reported over the years. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy apparitions dressed in military uniforms, which were suggested to be part of the original soldiers guarding the fort. And many have reported unexplained noises, including the sound of marching boots echoing through empty chambers and corridors, and whispers, and suddenly cold spots. There are people that have claimed to have seen a lone figure standing on the defences before suddenly vanishing. And the grand shaft is also supposed to be haunted, so it would be interesting if we can get there. I think it's only open at certain specific times of the day. I thought I'd have a quick walk around here. We'll go back outside and then go up. Maybe I'll have a look at the grand shaft and see if I can, how far down I can get there. So it's a really interesting place. If you're a bit of a history buff, you want to come and see the fort itself. It's quite majestic, isn't it? I'll put an overview, an aerial shot of what the place looks like. Obviously, I don't have a drone, so I can't do a drone footage for you. I think it would be very easy to get lost here. So there's a footpath going up there. Let's investigate for a second. Where does that go? Okay, so that's just another entrance to the site. So it says it's open during normal hours, and actually the footpath from there suggests that you could come in here any time of the day. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking Roman Empire, you know, just straight up vertical structures to defend. And I guess the whole purpose of a fort is to house the militia so that should an invasion or an attack happen, the forces who are inside can quickly come out of the fort and subdue the invaders. So, of course, the threat of the French invasion, they would have used the grand shaft to descend down into the town. We'll have a look at the grand shaft in a minute. I'm going to walk there again now. There's the entrance that we just came through. So lots of walking around, but I want to go down to where the grand shaft is. I don't think it's open today. And in fact, I think it's only open at specific times. Put it on the screen for you, just in case you're thinking of coming here. A rock. Somebody's chucking rocks from the top. Got this old brickwork here. Anyway, we'll just pop round this corner and we'll go and have a look at where the grand shaft is. I didn't see any obvious entrance. There's a door there. You're going to get 900 troops from in here out that little door to go down the grand shaft. You can actually walk around the top part, and I'm going to do that in a minute. Maybe we can see a lone sentry standing. So we'll just go down here. This is the route to the grand shaft. Now, if this place is open technically 24 hours, the sign on this entrance said something about it being, what am I thinking? Normal daylight hours. You could come here any time of the night, and then it would be eerie and spooky. I've come up here to see what I can see. I think that's the entrance to the grand shaft down there. But I just want to see what's up here. Does this give us a better view of the town? Oh, it's just another entrance. So actually, this is interesting. As long as you know your way around, there's the town down there. As long as you know your way around the town, then you can gain access to the fort from multiple locations. Let's go down to the entrance of the grand shaft. We'll see if we can see what it looks like from up here. It is very slippery, falling on my coccyx of my arsicles. Let's ascend the staircase without falling. This would have been the entrance. Can we see anything inside? Poke the camera in. Might see a spectre or a ghost. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. I can't see any spectres. I'm not going to fall. I would assume this is the entrance to the spiral staircase, if there is such a thing. Right, shall we get up to the top somehow? Let's do it. By the power of editing. Yeah, that's much better, isn't it? So potentially from up this side, I can follow the route around the fort and perhaps get a view from up this side. Can't see how you would ever get to the middle of the main building. Right, let's take a walk around the perimeter of the fort. Fort's obviously on the inside. Oh, we got a signpost here, which has nothing on it at all. I can see how it would have defended. I think it's a star shape. I am going to put some more aerial footage Wherever I get the source from, I'll give them credit for the images. But at least we get an aerial view, right? It's very easy to get lost because I was thinking it's just a square shape. So you walk 4 angles, but actually each section looks identical. So as you're walking around, you might think to yourself, where am I? I'm confused. And you can see that, can't you? So it's very wise that they've got these barbed wire fences to stop us falling off the edge. It's even higher. There looks like there's a gun emplacement up there. Perhaps during World War II they had that. So over the hill is the other part of Western Heights, and they used to have the military quarters. I'm not going to visit that because I don't think it's open to the public. But here's a picture of what it looks like. It really is just a little walk of discovery. But can you imagine walking here at night and hearing eerie voices and whispers and actually spying a lone sentry standing up on the hill? I wonder if anyone's actually seen anything and given an account. It's a funny thing, I did my walk around Pluckley, and the number of comments that were all about hogwash and nonsense, or the only spirits I saw were in the Black Bull pub. Have I come to the end? Yeah, so I was going to ask you, have you ever seen anything? Do you believe in it? I think I might have to go down. Or maybe we go out this way. I think that's what we'll have to do. Remember at the bottom I showed you the footpath coming out? Well, there's the footpath down there. So I think this leads me back to the footpath down there. Isn't it funny? I don't like backtracking, but I feel if I go back, I've got to go all the way round and then back in to get out. So I'll just walk down here. Oh, that's a disappointment. I thought it would go back down onto the fort, so we've walked our way out of the fort back onto the main road. So we'll just follow this footpath down onto the main road. Quite high, aren't we? Looking out over Dover again. We're going to have a look at this other entrance just down here, and then I'll take you over to the Western Heights section. Oh look, this is the other entrance. So if you wanted to come in at midnight, you can park in that little car park there, cross the road, and then follow this down back into the fort. Which I'm not going to go back in. But, yeah, it just goes down into the fort. So just around the corner here should be another entrance. You are here. So where Drop Redoubt was over that side, you've got the detached bastion, ditches, Church of the Knights Templar. That's for another video. But yeah, look, maybe this is where the entrance was for the soldiers to come and go. Network of tunnels, right? Look at this 19th century architecture. You can go up the stairs, but it leads to private land, so for the sake of that, I'm not going up the stairs just to come down again. Right, just around here are the Western Heights defences. I think we'll have a look. I do love a bit of a wander and a ramble to discover things. So we're now entering Western Heights. There is a little board here, so let's have a quick look. So that just gives us a general idea of what the Western Heights is. South Military Road. That's where the other part of the Western Heights defences were. We were just at Fort Redoubt there. And we are now going to look, where are we? Up here, this bit, which is the Western Heights. Let's see what it says here. No, that's just police. Okay. One of the most important and impressive fortifications in Britain, the Western Heights, is a series of strong points linked by miles of ditches on the western hilltop of Dover. They began as a series of field fortifications during the American Revolution War, just in case the Americans came over, right? But extended and amended again in the 1860s and were finally completed in the 1890s. So yeah, let's have a look at this. First of all, we'll go down towards the embattlements. Two ways to choose, right? The front where the guns were in place, but also at the bottom here where all the ammunition would have been stored. It's strange that it's decayed and decrepit, but it still stands from the mid-1800s. Do you need a light? This small room on the light of the lamp store where we keep the lanterns and the oil. The oil in the lamp store. I can imagine this being a bit freaky at night. World War II gun emplacements, right? Ooh. Okay, I'm going to follow my nose here, but obviously we can go up. There's no sign to indicate what we would have had here as a gun, but something's obviously been placed there to defend against World War II invasion, right? I'm thinking howitzers, 24-pounders. I will put something on the screen for you so you can have a picture of what it would have looked like. So you got another one here. So all the stores and munitions where we just came from on the other side carried up to the guns. Interesting. One there facing out towards the sea. This one defending the harbour. And then this one facing slightly more to the left. So I think they've got good coverage, don't you? And I do believe they had guns on the top as well. There's Fort Redoubt in the distance. Can you see it? Where we just walked. Drop Redoubt. I always tend to call it Fort Redoubt. Got a little pillbox here. Should we go inside? I always like to go inside the pillbox. Pole for a gun. If I could read it, I would. There we go, inside the pillbox with a funny echo. Pew, pew, pew! We shall defend our island. All four areas covered. And then we come back down to the underside of the gun emplacements. So each one of these are an entrance to the gun emplacements. We cannot go in anymore. I think that would be fascinating if whoever runs this, English Heritage or something, could actually open it and man it so that we could go in and see. Look at that 18th, 19th century architecture. What are these rails for? À quoi servent ces rails? Okay, so yeah, you can see that, can't you? Soldiers are able to lift the heavy shells with the help of special hoist and davit. Notice that the metal loops in the wall, these hold the davits. I can't see any metal hoops in the wall unless that's it there. It's so ornate, look at that. The brickwork. It's almost like, let's not just throw something up, let's actually make it decorative. Last time I was here, you could see in here. I might poke the camera over the top. What have we got here? Magazine. So this is where they would have kept the munitions. Is the camera picking anything up? Anybody in there? I did do some footage from the pillbox up to the top. There was a building up there. But then when I'd completed the whole walkabout, I noticed I hadn't pressed record, so I did or I didn't. Right, I'm going to take a drive down to the seafront. I'm going to finish the video with a look at the grand shaft. Sounds rude, doesn't it? And so we come down to the front, and in the midst of all this modernity, which, you know, to some degree are quite old houses, 1900s, old buildings. I could imagine this being considered, you know, with the port of Dover in the 1800s, quite the seafaring part of town. Bills, bait and tackle. Anyway, the point I'm making, between this modernity, we have the entrance to the grand shaft. I think it's worth taking a look. Gosh, can you imagine it? Preparing all their military to come down from the fort, which stands at the top of the hill, and all piling out of this little entrance. With a little gatehouse. Western Heights Preservation Society. So the staircase is open Saturday the 14th and 15th September 2024. I think that's passed, don't you? Monthly work days, third Sunday of each month, 10 till 3, June to November. Let's have a look at this. The Grand Shaft was built as a shortcut between the town and Western Heights for troops stationed in the barracks above. Western Heights consists of an area of moats, ditches, bastions, batteries and forts built mainly during the Napoleonic War. So here you can see it depicted coming down to the fort. Grand Shaft entrance circa 1850. That's what it looks like inside. A fascinating little walk around some of the history. I've done the Dover Castle numerous times, but I've never filmed Drop Redoubt. Yeah, very fascinating. It's definitely worth a visit if you've just got an hour on your hands and you fancy a little walk. Grand Shaft. Looks quite foreboding, doesn't it? So there you go. Thank you so much for watching and bearing with. I'll see if I can get something together. I did mention the Knights Templar Church, and there are quite a few properties and connections to the Knights Templar here in Kent, because on their pilgrimages, or at least defending the pilgrims, they stopped over at Dover, didn't they? So I think that might be a potential video. But in the meantime, I shall say thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.